Hello and welcome to yet another episode of the Adventures of the Windswift. I'm Guy and I'm joined by our full crew once again. Now, the machinations of the Drow Republic seem to turn ever so slowly as the dark denizens of the hall pits seem to have a lot of fun with saddles and things. But anyway, Dice and Destiny is going to tell us who's going to recap everything that's been going on recently. It is number 2, and that is... well, that's me, actually, if I count by the screen as the person I rolled a 2. So it's me. All right, so what happened last week, then, since I don't think I've ever done a recap, actually. Maybe I have once long ago, who knows. Right, so what happened last week was our intrepid adventurers are deep into the investigation of a certain halfling by the name of Athlen Vandendar, who was an operative in the employ or who was engaged with the Archon of the Order of the Histari and has unfortunately been accused of murder. He was accused of murdering a certain senator within the Drow Republic by use of a rather nasty necrotic poison. He, of course, claims to be innocent, except that he was in the room at exactly the same time that the senator happened to be in the room and ingested the poison. A maid found a bottle full of poison in the halfling's rooms, and it's a pretty much closed case. No one's really interested, except for the 5 captains of the Windswift, who think that it might not be the case. Maybe. They've been interrogating all kinds of individuals, fellows and females alike, and have been slowly working a way through the quagmire that is this murder case. The challenge, of course, is if they get too involved, they stand with the accused, and should the accused be convicted of murder, and he has already been found guilty, they will be executed alongside with him. So there's a certain distancing that needs to happen. Now, there's also a strange book that's been found, and some stones, and an earthquake that needs to be investigated. But all of that's got to have to happen after dinner, I'm afraid, because currently... dear Mr. Blaxton Rose is having dinner with the senator, and everybody else has scarpered like, well, shall we just say they've scarpered because they don't want to be found having stolen, ransacked, pillaged, plundered, and almost raped their way around the senator's estate.
We forgot the grave robbing, though.
Yeah, there was a bit
of
of
the defiling.
Grave robbing, the defiling.
Yes.
Oh, dear. How could I leave that out of the litany of crimes that they have currently committed within the Drow Republic, a mile below the surface of the planet? Anyway, with that, let's pick it up, and we'll start with the 4 of you. Where are you hightailing to? Are you heading back to the Drow Hotel, the Dollendendium?
Yeah, I think we should do that first.
Quick regroup.
Well, yeah, and then we need to get to the Vyx's estate while he's not there.
I need a new shirt. There's holes in mine.
That's right, and you're wet.
Yes,
Went for a bit of
that too.
stuff. All right. So the 4 of you...
how long is the carriage ride going to take, or the sled ride?
It takes about 3 hours to get from...
3 hours? Oh, wow, then I have plenty of time. I'm gonna want to cast, because I realize I haven't actually done this, identify on these 2 stones in the book. Just
Right.
like properly get like an idea of like what do they do, how do you use them. Yeah, you learn magic properties and details, how to use them, spells affecting them, if it was made by a spell, and what did.
Right. Okay. So that's what you're going to be doing. The rest of you, obviously, you have plenty of time for a short rest as the carriage makes its way towards the town. You finish casting Identify, and what do you look at first, the stones or the book?
The stones first.
All right. Would you give me a willpower saving throw, please?
Oh, God. Certainly. Oh, God.
So I basically just see the carriage going off and around the corner and then...
Well, but that's wisdom, right?
Mm-hmm.
8.
8.
8!
That's interesting. All right.
How is it?
You take 17 points of damage.
Holy crap!
Ow.
Ow!
What kind of damage?
It is a psychic form of damage, if you like.
Right, that's
I didn't do nothing.
That's not negated in any way,
Nope.
because then I am at 0.
So
Athrosai falls unconscious.
That's all
Great.
my hit points. Just
Well,
go,
what-
"Ah!"
That's it. That's what happens. The three of you see Adrasai. She finishes casting her spell. She looks down at the stones and screams out. Blood sprays from her nose. Her eyes are on the back of her head, and she falls over as motionless as a cat that is flat can possibly be.
So here's the question: are you minus or are you zero flat?
0.
Exactly 0?
Exactly 0. I have
Yeah,
17
you're just
points.
not actually knocked out, and you're actually not dying, so that's good.
Yay!
All right. Anyone going to
Con.
react
Is Con with us?
here?
Yeah, Con is here.
Yeah, I just brought him to you guys.
So she just suddenly keels over in the carriage.
Screaming.
And sprays blood everywhere.
It's just like an anime moment when like the guy
Yeah.
sees something like.
The stones were too attractive.
Yes.
After a few split seconds of horror, I'd rush forward and immediately cast Cure Wounds on her.
Oh, thank you.
Glue her brain back together.
So that's happened even before you enter the estate.
Oh dear, that's 5, I'm afraid.
5. All right.
Well, you have a short rest in front of you. With
Yeah, I do.
So the reason why you had this incredible pain that racked your entire body was the moment that you looked at the stones, you triggered a defense within the stones. And so you realize that if you were to try and look at them again, the same thing would probably happen.
Probably, yes.
Someone does not want anybody to know what these stones can actually do.
Right.
So I get her sort of upright in the carriage again. Is she conscious?
Are you all right?
Ow.
What happened?
No, I am not all right. That was... Ow! Ow! That was some kind of defense mechanism or something. Whoever made these stones, or whoever has done something to them since, does not want anyone else to use them. That is absolutely clear. Ow!
Are you going to be all right?
Yeah,
She does
probably
not look
eventually. I
alright,
just
so
have
they
the
can do
worst
proper look at-
headache. And I got blood all over my jacket. Oh,
Yeah, we're both
The
gonna need
notes? The notes!
no! No, the notes are safe in the bag.
You weren't taking notes on the identifier?
I couldn't bleed on my notes. Let's identify first.
Right.
Right.
So,
Well, that was terrifying and horrible. Oh god.
would you please
Okay,
give
let's-
me a religion check?
Yes. 14 plus 6 is 20.
You are not convinced that you were alone whilst your head was exploding. You felt as if perhaps there was something or some being that was standing next to you when you tried to determine the nature of those stones. And from the sort of the after image in your eyes, so if you kind of open and close your eyes quite quickly, you see there's always that sort of whitish, strange shape. You still see the figure standing guarding the stones. And there is a vague symbol that you can make out on the figure's chest. At least you think it's on their chest, or it's in that space where the chest should sort of be. And you think that it is perhaps the god Tandas, because of the symbol, which is an open book, is on his chest.
That's the god of knowledge gathering and
Knowledge
and
management.
yes, but because there is another one who is sort of very yes, who's sort of very knowledge at all cost kind of god, but this is one that's slightly more empathetic towards the living.
Magic is power.
Yes, Tandas. All right.
And they're not friends, Tandas and Nim.
No. All right. Well, I think possibly Tandas has something to do with that. Possibly
What?
very disapproving about this.
Okay.
It's a little
how?
difficult to explain right now. I'm not entirely sure. It might have something to do with those eyes that I saw in the book library.
Wait, what eyes?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't tell you about that. Yeah,
No.
because of the sudden having to flee and then the monster and the
talking very
piranha
loudly.
eels and stuff. Yes. No, when I was inside the book, there was I
Who's driving them?
Sorry, you were saying when you were inside the book?
Yes. Sorry, I got completely off track there.
The eyes. The eyes.
You were inside the book.
the eyes. The eyes.
Eyes. The red glowing eyes.
Yes. No, I was inside and I was going to mark the page to find my way back, and then there were a pair of eyes.
Clearly, but I'm rather more concerned about whether or not you're going to be fit to carry out.
I'm fine. It's perfectly fine.
Needless to say, we should probably proceed with caution with regards to this discovery.
Yes, I was thinking
Perhaps
we
no
should...
more diving into things just yet. I don't want to be scraping your brains off the inside of the carriage.
No. I also have the thought that maybe we should split up who carries these things. That maybe two of you have one stone
Excellent
each,
plan.
but we separate them from the book as well.
This is a good plan, but I am very curious about the eyes inside the book.
Yes, I mean,
Perhaps we could come back to that later in private.
Yes. And I mean, I definitely want you to come with me at some point.
Yay!
Yeah, you need to see this.
Well, anything that involves experimenting and going inside things and finding things out,
I know.
it's going to be fun.
You get me.
I cast another Cure Wounds on her while she's jabbering away.
Ooh. Thank you.
That's 8.
8. All right, then I'm up to 13.
Honestly,
Guy.
I seem to be beset with compatriots who dive into things without properly investigating them first.
Guy, who is driving the carriage?
The old gardener.
It is the old guy.
Yeah, right. Damn it. All right. Then I would have intervened, but I forgot that was him. All right. We'll just go with that.
Right. So Simon Blaxton is getting ready for the dinner with the senator, I assume?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, we are on our way there anyway, right? So.
Correct. You met them just as they were leaving and you were arriving, so it doesn't take you long to get to the estate at all.
Right.
And when you arrive, you can see that there's bunting that's been put up around the entrance area.
Sorry, what is bunting?
Bunting, is flags and pennants have been put up showing the Drow and the
So a little bit pompous kind of makeup.
well, yeah, it's just to make it look pretty and festive, basically.
All right. Yeah, that's what I was asking because
Right.
we don't do fests here in Germany. That's why.
Yeah, right. The flowers put into vases and that sort of thing.
That's inefficient.
Sorry, you're right. Vases for the American viewers. So flowers have been put up into these things, and as you arrive, the butler is there again. He gives you a nod and a wink as he.
So before I actually enter the grounds, I would be very interested in the state of affairs rather than the niceties and the kind of. That's not really what I'm looking for because I know my friends or quote unquote servants, right?
Oh, yes.
Just went around marauding this place and like, I mean, the last thing that is like missing, I guess, is laying a fire. So that didn't happen, but everything else basically did. So I'm really kind of worried about how the people kind of behave. If there's anything, kind of people are a little bit like worked up aside from, there's like someone important here, rather than where are the intruders, what's happening, whatever. Because I also know what direction I would need to look for, where they were, right? So kind of, I want to that's kind of what I'm a little bit more worried about, because I'm going quite literally in the den of the lion right now without backup, without weapons, without armor. But I would have my arming sword, but not really like anything else, right?
Of course, yes. Right. Well, there doesn't seem to be any commotion aside from getting the estate ready for the arrival of the
For the
senator.
festivities.
And yeah, you sort of cast a glance out towards the mausoleum out over on the lake. Doesn't seem to be any activity around there whatsoever. No one seems to sort of have rowed out there. There's not search parties scouring the grounds at all. Yeah, the butler.
I don't remember we were that discreet.
The butler gives you a nod and a wink, and says, Judzadari, Her Grace, would like to see you, if possible, in the reading room."
Of course.
He takes you through, and she is standing there looking out over the lake, and she looks back as you arrive. "I'm not entirely sure what is going on here. There has been quite a rather complicated situation which has arisen as a result of your servants."
What happened?
"I had to execute several of my staff. It was very unfortunate. I am just curious to know if that was part of your plan or not. I only upon reflection realized that that might be the case."
Again, I wasn't here for a few hours, so...
"I assume you were operating in concert with one another. The testing
yes,
of the
but as
loyalty
soon as-
of my staff?"
As soon as I came into the estate, is the butler person
No,
still with us?
He's left.
All right, then I would just gesture at the door, basically. As soon as I entered the estate grounds, your butler asked me to come to you to see you straight away, so...
I understand that. I understand that your servants have been here asking questions, raising points of interest to everybody, and testing the loyalty of my staff, which of course was proven to not be true, hence the executions. I was just curious as to whether that was part of a bigger plan or not. I am unfamiliar with the surface dweller's approach to investigations of this matter, so...
Yes, and I guess that they are unaware of behavior of the fair Drow people. They can be quite nosy. What exactly happened? They kind of facepalm.
The details are not too important. We discovered a houseboy who had been eavesdropping on your servants, although apparently it wasn't too hard. He had overheard some very inopportune pieces of information about a certain piece of literature which you have of importance. Obviously, he had to go, given the fact that he had heard the contents of this literature. There was a rather interesting incident in the kitchens involving a gardener. He obviously was too open with his information, and so he had to go. But it is just a curiosity, that is all. I appreciate the assistance in terms of rooting out those who would be against my house.
Well, I can't say that I'm enthused about the situation, and I'm deeply sorry for what happened to you and your belongings. How much would I owe you for this inconvenience?
Oh, me? If anything, it is I who should be paying you. We suspected that the boy was selling information from this house, but the fact that we managed to prove it was fantastic. The child wasn't up to a decent interrogation and revealed that he had heard about the book. Now, there's only two people in this entire estate who knows about the book, yourself and myself. So for the gardeners, for the son to have heard it, obviously he was spying.
Yeah, this means that I will need to deal with my servants as well. Although I don't quite have something as final in mind as you. Still, rather unpleasant.
One cannot afford to have one's own staff listening to one's conversations. It wouldn't do. The entire Drow Republic would collapse if our staff were not trustworthy. We must make an example to those that would waver in the face of financial gain, yes?
That I do understand, but some things are a little bit different if you traverse the surface.
Oh, I would not trust to speak in the surface. You could have ears above you. No, I do not envy those of you who live on the surface. There's too much space for people to move around too freely.
Well, speaking of moving around, let's switch the topic to something more positive. So, how are we going to do these deliveries? And I go into a little bit of
all right, into the sort of the technical side of things. Absolutely.
Yeah. Just to change the topic right now. It's
let's move on.
Exactly.
Right.
And she doesn't seem to be super. What I've see from this situation is that she's more looking for information from me right now, how I act to it, because she is not she doesn't seem to be angry with me. She doesn't seem to want money from me, right? So it's information, and I'm not really willing to give her more information. So I'm just going to move the conversation along a little bit to something else.
Yeah, which is absolutely fine. So she starts to outline her plans, and they're fairly efficient plans. If anything, it might be a bit tricky from your side. The quantities that she's talking, she can supply.
I've got ideas.
She can supply quite a large amount of the coffee that they are generating.
Okay, so actually, since you are, let's speak actually brass here. So how much does she want to supply, and how many ships would I need to have?
Well,
planning on buying a fleet.
Right. Well,
I have a fleet. What do you want? I just need to inform that they are now working for me.
So she is prepared and can ship 100 tons of coffee a week.
Well, that's a lot.
Yeah.
All right. And then how much? So what's the minimum and the maximum that she can move?
Well, the minimum, of course, if she goes into mass production, she can probably go to 20 tons minimum.
Okay, so between 20 and 100?
Yeah. For now, if she needs to expand the estate...
Right. I want to start this a little bit slower because I also need to kind of organize things. All right. So then we'll do the rest afterwards. And she can just supply this here, basically. So we just need to go... The only way we can really go is from the Sajet Empire on the top side of things, or is this with kind of distribution wherever?
This would be to the city of Takatumen, and then from there, distribution would be your responsibility.
Right, that's all I wanted to know. We don't need to go into more detail there. All right. Okay, that's what we're talking about.
Good. There we go. Back to the four of you with leaking adresi. They're slowly recovering. Are you going to try and cast Identify again?
Yeah, on the book.
Right.
So you do cast it, or you make a ritual?
I'm really sure.
Yeah, it's a ritual, so it's 12, 11 minutes each.
Yeah.
Are you sure this is a wise idea?
Perhaps we should wait until at least we're back at the hotel.
Yes, and also, I glance at the driver. Can we...
He's just slowly prodding the spiders along.
Yeah. I look at everyone just like, can we not?
I look up at the driver. Could we, go a bit faster, do you think?
He looks back at you. I didn't want to interrupt a lady's rituals. We go faster, sure enough. He prods the spiders and they will start moving faster.
Let's get to the hotel.
All right. Eventually you get to the hotel. The gardener drops you off and makes his farewells before carrying on in a different direction.
And before he leaves,
This character's so bad.
before he leaves, I walk up next to Adresai and kind of put my arm around their shoulders and lead them to the hotel while I speak, perhaps a little too loudly. Well, now we will have plenty of time to investigate the lady's gift to our master, and then we leave.
Yes, thank you.
That was clumsiest attempt ever, but whatever.
Let's go to the
Yes.
hideout den with the present.
Go to our criminal club.
Oh dear.
All right. So,
Yeah, did we get a short rest during the?
Yes, you
Wait,
did.
he doesn't need to
Rest of the
roll a performance check for that. Just kidding.
I can do that if you want.
How does it work to regain hit point? Can I spend hit dice during?
Yes, like if you have 1 hour rest, which is a short rest, you can spend
Yes.
as many hit dice as you want, and you don't need to decide before you roll. So you can roll 1 and then decide if you want to roll another one.
All right, I'm gonna bring in a bit more hit points then. Ooh, 6. Yeah.
And the hit dice is recovered on a long rest.
Half of the
Alright.
hit dice, yeah.
Half of the hit dice.
Ah,
Okay.
All right, then I've used up 1, and I'm back to full.
all right. All right. So what are you doing in the? You obviously in the Dolendendium con.
We cleaned the whole room of surveillance devices as far as
We were also gone for a few hours, but
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I
We
could
could perhaps do another sweep.
Yes, probably a
Yeah.
good idea. Also, I think we should take as an operational reality that we are probably under surveillance at all times. And
Yes, I was getting to that. We really need to stop talking about these things in the open, all right?
Yes, right. You're right.
I was hoping this would improve, but it has not. So please, we really need to fix this.
Well, it is what it is at this point. More importantly,
Hmm.
do we know how we're getting to Vix's place?
Wait. Surveillance devices.
well, you can speak in terms that seem innocuous enough, right? I mean, that's basically what thief scant is. Although thief scant in the word is like even extremer, right? But you can just be in specific.
Jorik, are you looking for?
Yes, I am.
All right, give me an investigate check, if you please.
Definitely. It's 19.
19. All right.
Ooh.
So you go around the room as best you can, and you find what looks to be a rather beautiful flower in amongst the flower arrangement in the room. Except you realize that when you look at it, it looks like a flower, but as you look away, there's a shimmering effect that happens, and it's a rather poor illusion that's been passed onto this. It looks like a hearing horn that's been built into the flower arrangement that leads through to a pipe.
I reach out to grab it, and then Adresai Saket, can you have a look at this?
I can have a look at it. I don't know what I'm going to do with it.
Don't touch it.
It's a flower thing.
Yeah,
Actually, it's an illusion spell on a speaking horn.
So do we stuff it with something?
I don't know. Maybe we can just take it away.
I walk up to it, look at it. Where does the tube go? Into the floor?
Piping is built into the desk, which leads directly into the wall behind it, similar to what the Windswift has.
I lean in
we
nice
cork
and
it.
close.
Has anyone got a sock?
Hello! Are you getting everything all right?
Oh no.
Well, that's what you shout. You don't get a response back.
And then I stuff a rag in it.
All right.
Somewhere there's a drow sitting with bleeding ears. That's one way to do it.
Oh, I'll be glad when we're out of this place, I tell you.
Yes.
Man, okay.
All right, now we can speak.
Okay, so what's the plan?
Well, we needed to investigate whether or not there were draconic artifacts nearby. That's right.
Mm-hmm. Something about an ice elf. I haven't seen one of those. It's going to be very intriguing.
I've only read about them. I don't know much. Does anyone have any information on allegiances, abilities, or something we need to know?
No, limited knowledge on that, I think, at this point. But more importantly is, I think, operations. How are we getting where we're going? How we're getting into where we're going when we get there? Do we know where we're going?
Finding the place is probably not too difficult. You could probably,
Without
worst
asking
case,
for
ask.
directions.
Yeah.
Asking for directions to this kind of location is suspicious, especially in this country where everyone seems to be a spy.
Yes. Other side, did you buy any maps? I mean, you're always fiddling with maps. Have one of this place?
No, I haven't had the time. But I spent a lot of time in the library. Did I see something like that?
Not particularly.
No, that was a legal library.
Legal library, so it's not.
And how long do we think we have for the evening's entertainment to run its course?
I guess how much alcohol is flowing. Well, hang on, wait. If Blaxton was due to spend the night, could Vyx be spending the night there too?
Hopefully. Either
Well,
way,
said
there's a
that he was-
3-hour trip from the estate to here.
And he did
It's
say that he was in
Perhaps it-
neighborhoods who was going to stop in. It didn't seem like it was some sort of planned overnight stay.
So we can assume we'd only have a few hours.
Okay, so, well, let's just account for the journey time as well. He'll have to probably spend 3 hours getting to the estate and getting back. So that gives us 6 hours at least.
Unless he lives in that direction.
Ah.
Anyway, I'm going to need a new chart.
Everyone
Adrusai, you could probably buy a map.
I suggest you divide the artifacts among you. And you can get yourself
Yes.
ready for this mission. I'm going to
I'd like to hold on to the book, but
Of course you do.
try not to read it.
I'm
Without me.
Shall we say half an hour? I will be back, and
Yes,
hopefully I
see
will
what we find.
ascertain the information we need.
I can take one of the stones, by the way. If
Yes,
you
good.
don't feel comfortable carrying it, I can.
no. I'd rather if one of us was waylaid that they don't get all three parts at once.
Yeah.
Okay, I can also take one of the stones.
How large are the stones, by the way?
They're about that big.
All right, but okay. So not
So like a
Palm-
baseball.
Yeah,
Like a
they're about
baseball.
the size of your hand.
all right. Put it in your boot, but it's uncomfortable. Okay, I don't know.
I want to change my deck and actually settle in and cast Identify on the book because it's just one of those things that needs to be done. As far
Alright.
as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
That's
after
what
the
you're gonna be doing?
last
Why not now?
Why not wait until we're on the surface?
Mm-hmm.
Because finding out what this thing is and does is part of like figuring out what the hell is going on.
Well, all right. Well, we're just going to do our own actions. So, Blaxton, you're getting ready for the dinner with Vyx. Is there anything that you want to do specifically before that happens?
I would want to probe her a bit in terms of why he comes, why he's here, and how she feels about him. Like that's actually something that I would want to find out. And if she has like something she wants me to do with him, like I should not speak about certain things. Obviously, about the servants thing, yes, I understand that. But I mean, about our dealings, like whatever. Like I want to see how she feels about these situations
All right.
before going into because I don't want to kind of.
He is coming here to protect his interests. That is why he is coming here. You are an unknown in the equation that is Senator Vyx's grand strategy at this play.
So he's here because of me, not you.
That's correct. Remember, I would not oppose Vyx's acquisition of this land that he is after. It was my father who was contracted to determine the value of the land. With my father's death, Vyx is capitalized in terms of being the one who has brought his murderer to justice. If you threaten that standing that Vyx has managed to achieve, then he has not gained anything by my father's death. Senators would not let that happen.
No, that's something I do understand. What I don't understand is how your exact position is. Would you prefer he gets the land, or do you have no qualms with it either way?
I wasn't involved in the politics behind it. As far as I understand it, it was fairly mundane farming land out on the northern side of the
That's what
city.
I heard as well.
And
although he's trying to get it for over 10 years now, so that's quite
correct. Then the earthquake has happened, and now it's not even valuable farming land. The territory is simply too unstable for anyone to go anywhere near. So, to be perfectly frank with you, whether he gets it or not, I don't really care. The fact that the senator is coming here to wine and dine, however, puts my house in decent standing. And after the death of my father, that's valuable.
So then let me ask an additional question. What do you hope to get out of this, other than some prestige? What do you hope to get out of this meeting?
If Senator Vyx is impressed with the estate wines and the coffee that is grown here, at worst, I have had a senator pay his condolences for the death of my father, which not a lot of Drow can claim have had. At best, perhaps he starts to order the wines for his estate. That would be a very lucrative deal for me. So that is what I am hoping. But I am also hoping that there isn't an incident. I would hate for him to think that I have enjoined you to investigate my father's murder.
Oh, you have made pretty clear that we are your guests, and this is entirely because of our business relationship we're working with, right?
I hope that that's what he leaves with that information, yes. So that would be my hope, is that he sees it as purely transactional, and in no way have I engaged you in any way to influence the outcome of the trial of that halfling against my father.
Right.
I know it's unfortunate he is a friend of yours, obviously, but or a business partner of yours, but it is...
I mean, that's why I'm here. That's one of the two reasons why I'm here. So I certainly have some interest in it, and that will be something that I will share with him, but it shouldn't be to any detriment to you, because this just gives him, well, a good reason to understand why I am here.
Precisely. I also know that Vyx is not a very, how shall we put it, trusting Drow, which is to say something for our people. I understand this, yes. He prefers to know information firsthand. So he is seen as a senator of the people. He's always out and about, always engaging people, always asking questions, always participating in...
Here's actually a question. Like, would I think she's telling the truth right now? Because I heard something different before, right?
Give me
I actually heard that he's like, that's actually contradicting information. So 10.
Yeah, she seems to believe what she's saying, but there is an undertone that this is a rehearsed speech.
Okay.
That's kind of what you're getting.
Comes too quick. Got it.
Yeah, or as if she's practicing out these sentences. She's sort of trying them out for the first time to see
that's so hard.
how well they fit.
That's something they just would do. Fuck. All right.
Right. So
All right. I'll take it.
All right.
I'll take it with a grain of salt, at least. Got it.
All right. Okay. Then I'm going to go to, well, Jorik, you are bathing and cleaning and mending and preparing, I'm assuming?
I'm actually going out in town trying to find a new shirt because there's a giant hole in mine.
Right.
And also trying to find a map that is decent of the area where I can, if I can, just look at the map first before I buy it, see if it's okay. So see if we can find Vyx's estate on the map.
Sure, that's what you're looking to try and achieve. Getting the shirt is not a problem. It costs you 3 gold pieces for a fairly decent shirt. They have your color, which is not surprising.
Oh, neat.
Well, it's dark tones, right? And you happen to be in the Underdark, so yes, you'd be hard pressed to find a
crimson red isn't easy to come by.
So, and as for a map, yes, you pass up the first map, which is drawn in a genuine Drow ink, which looks like crayon. Pass that one up, and instead elect for a much better drawn one. It will cost you 25 gold, though.
Ooh, wow. Yeah, sure. I'm going to try and haggle.
Sure, give me a persuasion check against a tree.
Bloody good map.
Well,
it's a tourist trap.
Dimensional.
What do you expect?
Yeah, I'm trying to get out of the tourist trap thingy. Wow, are you serious? I have advantage on this? Oh, fuck. 9.
9. Yeah.
So it cost you 35 gold.
Well, at 30 gold, you walk away with this spectacular map, which, for the additional increase, you now have a waterproof envelope to keep it in. But let me just impress upon you this map. It's a 3-dimensional map.
Ooh.
So it folds flat, but when you unfold it, you can open it out. It's a pop-up map, basically.
Oh my god.
And the reason is because it shows you the above city, which is where you are, and it shows you under city plus all of the connections in between the two. So it is a pretty impressive map, considering.
Well worth the 30 gold, yes.
While the envelope is waterproof, provided that you don't submerge it in water.
As long as it doesn't contain any water, it's completely waterproof.
Correct. Any rain that falls upon this envelope will not cause the contents to be damaged in any way, shape, or form. And if it does, you're welcome to bring the map back. And they'll...
But when there's rain, you're on the surface already.
All the rain we get down here.
Yes. All right, Saket. What are you doing?
What is the cat doing? I don't know. She's probably wandered out into the market as well, but probably in a sort of aimless, not really sure what she's doing way.
If you don't have it, get rope.
Right.
Yeah, rope's good.
Like heist
Get
stuff,
some rope.
right? Get heist stuff.
Oh, and then I go back and clean up, by the way.
Right.
Okay, so yeah, I guess I go and look for some things that might help, like some rope and some bags that are dark in color that we might be able to put things in
Again,
discreetly.
not
Yeah, probably
Right.
not.
You're not supposed to clean the shit out.
Right, I've got 12 bags.
Bag of holding.
Okay, so no, that's not a problem. You can go out and you can find 50-foot of rope, as well as your sacks and things.
Oh, good.
And that
So good.
grand total comes to, let's say, 8 gold all said and done. And,
When Vyx is coming back, it's like an empty estate.
That looks pretty. I'll just throw that.
Yeah, take that candlestick. It's probably
Tapestry is gone.
right.
Even the servants are gone.
Exactly. All right, so that's
We
what
kidnapped them too.
So Con, yes, they stayed at the hotel while you went out and got information. If by stay at the hotel, you mean within the same geographical continental plate? Yes, they stayed.
In the same cavern as the hotel.
Right.
Yes.
Correct. All right, so where are you going?
I went to the front desk, so I probably musically watched.
Right.
But I went to the front desk to speak to the concierge, if there is such a thing.
Yes, absolutely. The Dolendendium Hotel, of course there is. There's 3, as a matter of fact.
Fantastic. I'm in need of sending a message to the estate of Senator Vyx. However, rather remiss, my secretary has failed to get at the address. Are you able to send the message on my behalf?
Absolutely, sir. Do you want it delivered by personal courier or put into the official systems?
The official system?
Yes. Well, we take it to a distribution point and then they will dispatch it. It'll probably arrive by tomorrow. A personal courier will arrive within 20 minutes.
Ah, much better, yes. What's that address then?
Well, I just give it to the courier, so he'll sort it out for you. You don't need to.
Ah, yes. Can I dictate the letter to you?
Absolutely, sir. Would you care to sit in this very small office space here, which is neatly and tastefully laid out with very expensive paper, so that I might write down the dictation?
Well, I suppose so. It's not a very long note, but all right.
Absolutely. That's absolutely fine. So I'll make sure that we use at least 3 pages. All right. So he sits down and he gets out this very fancy quill and he gets ready to start writing. Yes, sir.
Well, if you could say...
That's a quill.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is a ballpoint. Right. Yes.
Yes, to the esteemed Senator Vyx.
Fuck you. Sorry.
If you're searching for your stuff, we have it.
Please leave 20,000 gold.
Yes.
Can you make it in newspaper letters like you glue to the... Oh.
Yes.
Yes, sir. The esteemed Senator Vyx.
We are delighted to accept your invitation, and Dr. Bankward would like to inform you that he is available to meet with you at your estate in 2 days hence, as you suggest.
Dr.
Sincerely, yes, Dr. Reginald Bankward. That's not me, by the way.
I was going to ask, sir, is that perhaps a friend of yours? Right, very well. Reginald Bankward, yes, absolutely. Within 2 days henceforth from the note, sir?
Correct.
Excellent. Is that it?
Well, yes, we do need to know how to get there.
No, we'll send a carriage for you, sir.
Fantastic.
If that's what you
Well,
wish.
that should be all. Thank you.
Very good, sir. So he finishes off the note. He hands it to you on a wooden board with little gold cornered trim. If so, would care to sign?
Well, certainly. Thank you. I sign a nom de plume.
Squiggle! Underline.
It could be anything.
Right. Okay. So, right. So you dispatch that. He adds the cost to your hotel bill.
Thanks for that.
Yeah. It should get there within the next 20 minutes. So should we expect a reply?
Well, I should hope so. We're still without the address.
I thought you would accept a carriage from the hotel, sir.
Yes, Dr. Bankward is not staying at the hotel.
I apologize most sincerely, sir. I thought he was part of your party. Well,
no, he has yet to arrive.
In that case, it makes absolute sense that, yes. Very well, sir. I shall write the address down on a note for you, sir.
Fantastic. That would be so helpful.
Excellent, sir. He pulls out the quill pen and the expensive paper and he jots it down in the address. Now, of course, sir, the tricky thing here is that, well, he did say that he was expected by Senator Vyx, yes?
Right. Received an invitation, yes, some sort of... it's not my field. We're
well,
merely
then he
colleagues.
shouldn't have any problems with security whatsoever.
Fantastic. Yes.
Right.
Yes. Well, I should hope not. Yes.
No, absolutely not, sir. Yes.
I imagine the Senator has quite significantly impressive security.
Well, he has security that most senatorial establishments within the city of Corsinii would have, sir, yes.
Well, yeah, I imagine the state must provide them with troops or something like that.
Not troops, sir. It's illegal for senators to own any form of standing army whilst within the Republic, sir.
Yeah,
But in terms of security, absolutely. There are the usual complement of guards, I suppose, although Senator Vyx sometimes has a few more. I've said in the past, but yes, nonetheless, it is the usual.
I imagine a senator of his standing would be well protected, of course.
Well, you'll see when you get there, sir, what I mean. Let's just say that it is unlikely that anyone would ever attempt to storm Senator Vyx's estates, my dear me.
Well, that would be foolhardy, of course, yes.
Well, yes, and a rather long drop, too. He hands you the note.
You've been excellent, thank you. I will be sure to recommend you to all of my colleagues when they come on their research trips.
Can I perhaps give you some notepaper in order to do that with, sir?
I always like a bit of notepaper, thank you.
Could you stop buying this fucking paper, please?
Right, he gives you 5 sheets of very, very impressive, very white hotel with its mark on it. And
Jorah comes back with a map. I have a map. I have an address. 30 gold flutters off into the sky.
All right, so
fair, he told you that he's going to find out the address.
Expensive pieces of paper in hand, I head back to the hotel room.
All right, that's what you're doing. Adressai, what are you doing?
Identifying.
You're casting Identify.
Dying.
All right.
Dying.
Yeah. Yes. All right, so you cast Identify. Would you please roll a 1d100 or give me a percentile roll if you...
That's the amount of damage you're going to take.
Yes! 99!
It sure is. 25.
25. All right, that's fine. So you cast Identify on the book, and the spell triggers. And the interesting thing about the book is that it identifies as absolutely no magic whatsoever. As a matter of fact, as you look around your room, your ceiling lights have more magic emanating from them than the book does.
Very interesting. Not very surprising that I think about it, but very interesting. No, then I should probably wait for the others to come back.
So that's the book on your table as you cast upon it.
Yes. Opening it, does that give the same
Give me a
sense?
dexterity saving throw, please.
Oh, God. Here we go.
The book punches you.
Oh, God.
A fist
What is
bump.
with my saving throws today? 6.
6. Okay, that's fine.
Could leave my hand.
Right. No, nothing as dramatic as that. As you open up the book slams shut. Yes, it is... as it slams, you take 6 points of damage.
Oh,
Ow!
Yeah, it slams onto the
on
hand.
my hand.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever saw Harry Potter, but there's
Yeah.
Yeah, there are worse fates.
Right.
Damn. Ow, ow,
I
ow.
have to stroke the spine first.
Right.
Oh, yes, of course.
the spine is still in the estate.
Oh, damn it!
Correct. So yes, the book, the best deduction that you can come up with is that the outside of the book has got some kind of non-detection magic upon it. Or
Yes, and the inside of the book does not want to be detected.
right.
It's shy.
It's very shy.
Right.
No, it's just standing nursing my hand, going, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to peek at your unmentionables. I'm terribly sorry. I won't do it again. I do so want to be friends.
Thus begins the
With
journey of
benefits, right?
Adressai as she starts to develop her relationship with the book, talking to it, caressing it late at night, and eventually...
It was inevitable.
I mean, she wants to be friends with benefits.
Right.
I do.
Sure.
The benefit of her being able to read her friend like a book. All right. No, anyway. Moving on quickly. It's worse than that. Back to you, Blaxton, as our intrepid 4 heroes are detecting and screaming and shouting at one another. Because Con, your little surgeon didn't take very long. Your identify spell took 10 minutes, right? Because you used voice as a ritual. Yeah, okay. All right. So, yes, there is a gong, and the butler politely knocks at your private door, Mr. Blaxton, and informs you that Senator Vyx has arrived.
Perfect.
And that her ladyship is serving drinks in the library.
Very well.
You head down and you step into the library, and there is a very tall drow, rather square in his jaw, probably maybe 200 years old, quite noble in his bearing. But you can see that the way that he commands the room, he is someone who is used to basically getting his way and bombarding people with his opinion until they surrender. And those are the words chosen very specifically for the type of bombastic individual that he is. And as you walk in, he turns, gives you a praising eye that looks from your
Is he
feet.
taller than I am? As an elf?
He is 5'9", so he's pretty
Right,
tall.
so
for
about
him.
the same. Yeah, but then we are about the same.
So, you are the retinue that has come to investigate your business partner's unfortunate involvement in a rather heinous crime.
Indeed, as I arrived, we were just here to make business and solve a few run a few errands we had to run. But once we came here and found out that one of my business partners committed a murder, I had to find out what exactly happened to mend any damage that he might have done. And I found out, well, obviously the horrible fate of a fellow senator and father.
So you agree that he committed the crime?
Well, it seems to be a shut case already in your books, doesn't it? And I'm not here to argue Drow law. I'm here to make business, first and foremost.
Yes. So I hear. I believe that you and Judrazari have moved things along quite quickly. I must say I'm rather envious. Having sampled some of the estate wines that she's producing, I think you got yourself a good deal here.
I'm glad to hear that, and I smile.
I was rather curious, as a matter of fact. I believe in fostering good relationships with the surface. It only makes sense that we and our closest neighbors should engage in open trade and dialogue. I believe that you have some rather interesting servants.
Well, I recently found out that they can be quite nosy, but that's just surface Geflogenheiten. That's just surface
Customs?
customs. Yeah, customs.
I see. I would not have ever said that the surfaces are particularly curious people.
Well, my servants are quite a bunch. As you might have heard, they're not all Sagetti or Brunei, or they come from all over the place. And I found this is quite helpful to find, to speak with locals first of all, and also to get different in opinion if you need them.
I never thought of using racial diversity as a way of canvassing the nature of one's business interests. I think that's rather astute of you. Could I meet some of your servants? The lawyer is one that makes me particularly interested. The one that spent such a great deal of time in the legal libraries just after your arrival, for instance?
Right. I'm sure I can arrange something, but I fear right now they're on different business.
That is a pity. Well, perhaps another time then, absolutely.
Well, if you can give me your address, I can send him over to your place.
Yes, of course. I'll exchange pleasantries with your manservant. You must have... I believe he is the one who has some rather non-salubrious activities in the Undercity.
It seems that you're quite informed already. Well, yes, of course.
Yeah, I am a senator. It pays to know what's going on in one city, don't you think?
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
Back to the four of you. You've regathered yourselves in the central chamber that you're all sharing.
All right, ideas.
I have the address.
You, what?
I have the address. Now we just need to go with
All
us.
right, that's good.
Okay, great. Where are we going?
Yeah, how do we...
I showed them the address.
Right.
Well, this doesn't really tell me much, I'm afraid.
Did anyone find a map?
Yes, I have one.
All right.
Oh, good.
So,
I
That we can-
unfold the whole 3D map on the table.
Woo!
pop
That's
up.
nice
Pretty.
map.
There's just one problem. Where the hell are we?
Yes.
Well,
Is there no you are here?
Well,
There isn't,
this
and it's
nice
all
fancy paper has the address of the hotel on it.
Yes. So it does take you some time because the map's in Drow, but eventually you work
And
out
the
where
one person who reads Drow is not here.
right.
I comprehend languages.
Ah, yeah,
right. So you sort of wait quietly as the comprehend languages goes off. There is a rather interesting challenge which presents itself to you. The senator's estate, of which there are 10 senators who live within the city of Corsinii, is a rather impressive tower, and it stretches all the way from Undercity all the way up to the above city territory. It can be accessed, according to your map, by 2 bridges. The bridges are 15.5 foot wide and have a span of 100 foot from the edge of the city out to the tower. In Undercity, the tower does not touch the ground. It continues in its own well down several more layers that then disappear off of the map. There is literally the singular tower with 2 bridges, one from Undercity down to its basement level, and one from above city to its central.
So here's a question about the comprehension. Is this just his thing, or is this for all the senators?
All 10 senators have the same.
Live together in this?
It looks like a spider, if you like. There's a sort of a central area, which is in the very, very elite part of the upper city, and it has these 5 bridges.
Was I in this tower then already twice, right?
Have you to Senator Vestasios?
Right, I met with 2 other senators already.
Yes. So with Vestasios, no, because that was in the central chamber of intelligence within the actual city itself.
Right.
But with Nasri, yes. Remember, it was that collection of towers. And,
Right.
That's correct.
So I see. So it's at the same. It's like a collection of 10 towers, and each senator has his own tower.
Correct.
Right, and they're interlinked by bridges.
Just one bridge at the
Just
surface, one at the underside. Correct.
How are the
And
towers
they have a
interlinked
well.
with each other?
The towers are not interlinked with one another.
So each tower has its own bridge then.
Correct. So like I said, so imagine there's a
Each tower has one bridge.
central
So
hub.
there's one tower for one senator. That's what was my question.
Correct. One tower per senator. Correct.
So in other words, we have a 3-hour journey to get there.
No. There's
No,
probably
That's
20 minutes away. Senator
it's in the
Talvarius, his
Next
estate
to the city.
is completely separate.
And did you say there was a well?
Well, it looks like when you look at the Undercity map, it looks as if there's 100-foot wide gap.
So we got the information that the mage, Vyx, is at his estate.
Correct.
So would the tower be meant as the estate, or is the estate like a suburb kind of situation?
It really depends
a
on
summer home.
Yeah, it does really depend. So Senator Talrarius, for example, he would have had a tower, but then he had this wine growing.
Right. That's why I'm asking, like, what
Yeah.
would be his estate?
Correct.
So we're not even 100% sure that he's in the tower.
I mean, I know from a senator that he's at his estate.
Right.
So if this tower is called the estate, or if this is the seat of his parliament
Jurisdiction.
bureau kind of situation, I would think the estate is the thing that is outside of the city. That
Right.
would be my understanding of the situation.
Right. Most likely.
And the address you got points to the tower?
Correct. That is
Okay.
where the senator's seat of power is, and that's where all communication would be sent.
How far out does the map go? Does it cover just the city?
Just Corsinii and the surrounding areas. So you can see that there are roads that lead out, and each of the roads is quite neatly labeled as to where it goes. There is a road that heads out to the Crescent Moon estate, and then there's several other roads that lead to various other places, many of which are labeled, but it's just names
Yeah.
that don't have a huge...
Again, we don't have enough information.
Yeah.
So essentially, this tower is suspended from above. It doesn't
Like a
touch the ground
stalactite,
in
kind
any way.
of.
Quite looks
Or
like
it's
And then it just
sitting
has
on
a
the
single
bottom somewhere.
bridge accessing it.
2 bridges, one at the upper level and one at the lower level. Knowing nobility and aristocracy, the upper level is probably what's used for people of importance. Knowing the Undercity, it's probably where all the foodstuffs get carted in, all that rubbish, all that nonsense kind of happens out of sight.
Well, I guess in the grand tradition of breaking and entering, that's our way in.
Yes, but there will still be a
Go
big
to the tower at all?
getting up through the tower, and we don't even know if it is the tower we need to go to.
Well, I have my invisibility spell again, but that'll only really hold for one person.
Yes, and yeah. This is difficult.
It's, well, to the best of our knowledge, we were told that we need to go to his estate to find stuff.
Yes.
We tried to establish where his estate is, and this is the information we have got. But we
Right.
don't.
Can we come up with any legit reason to go
No,
into?
I don't think it's the estate. The tower is his workplace, basically.
I think so too.
Like, you want to go to his home, not to his bureau.
Yes. Could we ask around and see if we figure out where his estate is, if he has one.
Well, the other problem is you're not here, so you can't advise us.
Yeah.
I can't do anything. No.
I don't want to go around asking questions. It's bad enough as it is. I mean, if we somehow screw up, which we've done a lot, then it would be very obvious for Vyx to figure out who it was that broke into his estate. If we go around asking questions, we simply cannot do that.
I mean, can you change yourselves? You have mages now with us, which we didn't have before.
Well, what we look like is irrelevant if we don't know where we're going.
I do have an alternate identity, I can assume, but that's just a disguise.
I thought that was the track we were on, but okay. No, I don't know.
Well, the four of you ponder it. Back to you, Blaxton. I wonder, this is not Histari business at all, is it? That you're on.
Well, some of it is. I am sure you are aware that we met with one of the families of our former captains.
Yes, it was an unfortunate business, I hear, that he died in the line of duty. But that is a good thing. It shows that the Drow are willing to commit to the treaties that were signed so long ago. I think also a matter of importance was that you brought back relics of that. I believe Jovinius is now going to start making a move to have their house reinstated as one of the elites.
Well, that is really not why I was here. I was just here to give back the possessions of the family to who they belong to.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Tell me, is that the sole interest down here? Was to return the artifacts to the Jovinius family and to establish trade with your halfling friend?
No, I was also searching for other things. As I found, I kind of mentioned to her, as I am always, as my father was a trader, so am I. So I'm always looking for opportunities that kind of open them, show themselves.
Yes, I see. I see. And not interested in geology at all?
Well, I personally am not.
I see. I see. Well, then, in that case, then
Why are you asking? Are you worried about something?
I always find it curious when surface dwellers come down here and start asking questions about those that have been found guilty. I understand our ways are not those of the surfaces. It does seem coincidental that you happened to arrive when your business partner was being arrested for murder.
Well, that indeed is a coincidence. I was on this way here solely because of other reasons, and the time just seemed to have worked out this way. But since you seem to be so interested in my motivations here and why I am so interested in this person, well, the entirety of the truth is that he had connections up on the surface as well, and, well, I wanted to know I wanted to learn anything I could do about his associations and see if they're trustworthy or not, and if I want to work with the people he was working with before. And since I couldn't get all the information, since the Drow justice system doesn't work the same as I am used to, they couldn't give me all the information that I wanted to know, so I had to dig a little by myself to see if this is a bigger plot or just the machinations of one madman.
And do you believe it to be the machinations of a madman?
Honestly, the one thing that I'm missing, and maybe you can help me with this, is that why did he do it? I don't see any reasons why he did it. So I think it is entirely possible that there's something behind the deed. I mean, I wouldn't just go around and murdering people just for the hell of it, especially not the senator.
There is a rather peculiar rumor, and he looks over at Judge Zadari for a moment and then looks back at you, that he may have been involved in certain relations with this particular halfling. And that relations
Senator.
soured.
Good job.
And I kind of look puzzled for a second and look
Judge Zadari steps forward and says, "Gentlemen, let us not speculate on what my father was or was not doing. My dear mother passed away quite a while ago, and if he had chosen to take a path that has brought him happiness, I am glad for it. The ending, of course, I am destroyed over. But let us not dwell on suspicions of activities. Rather, let us move forward, perhaps."
Indeed. Moving forward, now, as I already mentioned, I'm searching for opportunities always, and you are also a man, as I've heard, as you kind of mentioned earlier, that you are somewhat interested in geology, that you are a man of who's searching also for opportunities. Do you have any idea how we might be able to help each other? Is there anything I could do for you? Because certainly there are things that you could do for me in the position that you are in.
I have fleeting interest in geology, purely from an acquisition that I was intending to take. That is true, but no more than the average drow who lives with the fear of the ceilings caving in on his head, I assure you. As to working together, that could be an interesting proposition. I have heard some interesting things of a certain city by the name of Athlen Vandendar. Are you familiar with it?
I'll actually make a deception check. Yes, of course, I have heard of this. The place where my ship is berthed actually is quite close to Athlen Vandendar, only a few days' worth of traveling. What did you hear about the city?
It is dwarvish run, obviously, but they are progressive, unlike their cousins who still hold a grudge for no apparent reason.
Progressive, indeed.
Justifiable, anyway. Athlen Vandendar poses some rather interesting opportunities for my people in terms of expanding into a dwarven market. So it is...
Sorry, can you repeat that? There was some promise sound.
Athlen Vandendar poses a rather interesting opportunity for my people in terms of acquiring dwarven manufactured wares and the things similar to that, as well as possibly territorial acquisition.
So you want to move onto the surface?
It is an area that the Drow have traditionally not expanded into. And so, of course, it is an area that could be exploited by a forward-thinking member of the...
like you. Indeed.
Perhaps.
And where would I come in this?
Back to the four of you. Do you have a plan?
We need to find out if there is a secondary estate first.
Right.
Indeed. Could we...
Well, surely
Could we come up with
one
a...
estate.
Sorry, what?
Surely the senator has one estate.
Yeah. Could we come up with a reason to ask...
I asked for the address of his estate.
Could we seek this information from the source, where the information about this necromancer came from the beginning? Or Blaxton told us?
Yes, wait. He did. He told us about the other senator.
He had a meeting with Senator Nasri.
Nasri. Can we use him to get into Vyx's tower in any way?
The problem is that we were posing as servants.
Yes.
Why would
we
the
could
servants
pose as servants to get into Vyx's tower? I mean, there's suggestion that there's a lower bridge going into the bottom levels. Could that be for servants only?
Yes, but the thing is that we're going to be spotted either way, like no matter which one of the bridges we go in. So getting into that particular tower, I think it would be much better if we were there on some kind of actual business and then deviated from the path, so to speak. But what I can think of is to, honestly, since this book seems to have pretty much information about anything, I could consult that.
You really like that book.
Yeah, I was going to say.
It is a library right here on this table.
Here. Yeah, I get that. And we understand your love of libraries and your obsession with books. We do. We totally understand. We're going to give you that time, I promise. But I think we need to focus on this right now.
I am trying to focus on it. I'm saying that we can possibly get the information we need from the book. And if we can...
Wasn't it a book about geomancy?
Fine, try it.
It was geomancy, but it has absolutely everything in there.
It does, okay.
Yes. It's vast amounts of knowledge.
All right, but if I start seeing you go cross-eyed and all blue, I will punch you out of the book, okay?
Apparently, it's not going to get us the artifacts that we think Vyx has, though, does it? Is it?
Don't know.
Focus?
What do you hope to find?
I'm focused. Look, why don't you come with me inside Saket, and we can try to figure this out. Maybe two of us is better than one.
Okay. I mean, an excuse to go in the book.
You need to see this thing.
Specifically, what are you going to try and find out in there?
Anything we can about Vyx and his history, his estates.
But why would that be in that book? The book is thousands
It's
of years
about
old.
geomancy. You said about geomancy earlier.
I'm sorry, what?
The book, isn't it about geomancy? And
I would have assumed so, looking at it at first, but when I went into it, there was information about all kinds of things. History and culture and...
Okay.
And I'm not saying I expect it to be there. I'm saying it's a possibility, and it's a possibility we can investigate without actually be suspicious in any way. And I'm saying maybe we should.
Try it. Just
okay,
why
we
not?
tried, but guys,
I'll
pull
sit
us
here
out
and
in like,
How do we even pull you out?
I don't know.
Last
Well,
time I
shake.
shook it out of it.
Okay, so
Yes.
do that after 10 minutes.
I'll try to keep you safe with my mind as well. I will keep connected to you if I can.
That might just result. Oh, I don't know. I'm just a doctor.
But just give us a shake in about 15 minutes. We'll go have a look.
And as far as rules go, I cast Comforting Aura, so they have a D4 extra on saving throws while they're in there.
Thank you.
Right.
That's very useful.
Very
The
useful.
challenge is your ability to read the languages that the book is written in.
Ah, of course.
So there is that.
I mean, I have comprehend languages on and going right now, but I'm afraid I can't give that to someone else.
No, I'm going to be a bit stuck, aren't I?
Right.
Question is if everything is Drow or some other stuff as well, right?
Well,
So
the problem is the words are written in 3 dimensions.
Mm.
To try and keep track of just the first sort of paragraph requires the ability to comprehend languages in the first place.
All right.
Right. Well, let me just go in myself and then shake me out in 15 minutes, and I'll let you know.
All right,
All right.
go.
Well, 10 minutes gets taken to cast. Well, you've still got comprehend languages going. All right, that's fine. All right, so you start reading chapter 1, which eventually pulls you into that strange space. The three of you all watch as Adrasai's eyes roll in the back of her head, and then her whole body goes limp. And she sort of rolls over onto the book. All right.
Am I going in as well, or?
No, you can't read the words. You start to look at the page and you realize that although you're looking at the top page, it looks as if you're staring into a book that's been printed on glass. There's just layers of words in there. And then all the words start to very carefully move around underneath each other. So how or what she's doing, you know what she's cast, but how that helps her, you don't understand. So,
No,
Maybe I can teach it to you after this.
I'm gonna have to learn Drow.
right? It's not
Well,
even
it's not
this time,
Drow.
I don't know what it is.
It's the language of magic.
right? It is the language of ancients, as far as anyone's concerned.
Right.
Mm.
Okay, so what are you trying to look for?
Vyx, basically. But Vyx or Consinii.
All right. You start to concentrate on Corsinii, and eventually pages start to pile up in front of you. And talking of Corsinii, it is referenced in a book which you think, as you start reading, it appears to be a history of dwarvish invasion campaigns. And at a footnote where it mentioned that the Drow village of Corsinii has been quite easily overrun by dwarvish forces and pose no significant threat to the dwarvish empire.
Right. So this is way too old to have any mention of that.
Right. When you sort of concentrate on Vyx, there is a mentioning this. This looks to be a mentioning again of a lineage of Drow, and it's referencing an ancient Vyx individual who,
Sort of ancestor.
correct, was involved in what is referenced as the Ithelid Wars. But that's all you can find on Vyx and Corsinii.
Yeah. How much time have I spent doing that? About?
You're not sure.
No. Could be any. Because then while I'm in here, I kind of want to try to get to those eyes again. Just sort of, hello, are you here?
All right.
Large spooky friend?
Right, so the three of you think your time has come, your 15 minutes or so. I see Jorik is counting out the minutes. There's no response to your request about the eyes.
All right, wake them up. It's time up.
Pulled out of that strange space.
Give her a
Did
good
you
shake.
find anything?
No, sorry. Only mention of Consinii in this thing is this very old.
As I assumed. So,
Well,
with
now
the lack of options, our only option really is the tower.
Okay, so
So let's go. I don't see any other options for us. Either we go
don't
speak
like
to
this.
Nasri, or we go sneak into the tower. It
we're
sounds like a
we're
terrible
gonna have
idea.
to sneak. Well, could we not pose as traders or servants to try and get into the?
Well, we're already posing as trader servants.
Yeah, we are.
I mean,
Could we come with a message from Blaxton regarding a trade deal for Vyx?
The problem is he's having dinner with Vyx right now.
Well, we
which
could ask
they
if we
would
could come inside
without
and
doubt
wait.
already know.
We can come inside and ask if we can wait.
But why would we
Let's
leave
go
a
and
message?
have a look at this bridge, shall we?
Yeah, let's just go. Why would we wait for Vyx to deliver a message when Blaxton is actively talking to Vyx?
Right.
Maybe Blaxton
Yeah, let's
sent us with a message before he knew Vyx was coming for his supper.
I think we should separate our activities from Blaxton for the time being.
Right.
Let's just have a look at this tower and how we access it.
Okay.
Okay.
What kind of traffic is going into it?
Are you heading to the upper bridge or the lower bridge?
Lower.
Yeah.
So the three of you have never been into Undercity. Con has, so he's used to the fact that it's incredibly cramped and it smells disgusting. It really does smell like the excrement of an armpit of a sailor who hasn't washed in months. It really is a horrendous collection of human aroma and drow aroma, of course.
Charming.
Mixed with fungus, so there's this rather poignant smell in the air.
What did Han Solo say?
Right.
Quite a place you found.
Exactly. Exactly. And yes, it's crowded and packed, and there's people moving all over the place and screaming and shouting at one another. Looking at your map every now and again, it takes you a good half hour, but eventually you get to what can only be described as the bridge. that extends out to the tower that has got Vyx's name all over it. On the map, it's a very clean bridge that extends from a very hard boundary of Undercity to the tower. In reality, these shanty buildings have crept along the edge of the bridge, and struts have been built out on either side to the point that there's maybe a 7-foot clearance between the tower and the edge of the shanty towns which have been built out over the bridge. And the bridge is just this disastrous mess of traders and wagons rumbling into the base of the tower and coming out of it. There's just noise, there's traders, there's some guards standing at the base of the tower. They're checking wagons at random as they come in and as they go out. They really are not paying a huge amount of attention to anything because there's just so much going on.
We could easily get in here.
Yeah, I think this might be easier than I thought.
Yeah, we just have to blend in and look inconspicuous. That's going to be tricky.
Well, walk with confidence as if you're supposed to be there.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody will question you.
Yeah.
That's what my mum always used to say anyway.
Senators like exotic toys, don't they?
They do.
Yes.
They
What is that
do.
suggesting?
If one of you can procure a chain, perhaps yay thick.
Some saddles.
I can try to find
7
one.
feet
I
long.
do not like the way this conversation is going.
Well, I'm sure the senator would probably be delighted with the delivery of a tiger.
Oh,
Oh, that is not where I thought you were going with this.
no,
Yes,
I'm really relieved.
That's a good
Honest,
idea.
Exotic pets.
Where are we going to get a tiger from?
You're looking at him. I just need a quiet space where nobody's watching. You find a chain.
I'll find a chain. I go off and find a chain.
All right.
And a big spiky collar if I can find one.
I'm going to keep watching the bridge for now and sort of see if I can discern any kind of pattern as to which cards they're
Right.
checking or whatnot.
I want to walk the tiger in.
All right.
Ooh.
You go with the tiger to, you go with the soon-to-be tiger to try and find a discreet alleyway somewhere that you can transform. Jorik, you go up to go and look for a spiked collar.
Yeah, and the chain.
Discover is remarkably
Too hard down here.
Undercity. So you're not entirely sure what normally goes on down here, but there's leather workers and they've got collars of various sizes and things, and so you can find that. And Adresai, you are watching the carts going in and going out and going in and going out. What you realize is that certain carts are stopped and searched, and those are the carts that appear to have rather expensive items in them. And every now and again, you see a flash of one of the black coins that the Drow use as currency down here, one of the shards, being exchanged between the guards and the cart owners, and then the cart kind of trundles deeper into this cavernous space. On average, you're not here long enough, but most of the carts going in, you don't see them coming out. So there isn't a long turnaround time, a short turnaround time, I should say, inside that.
Yeah. Would it be fair to say that the ones that exchange the gleaming coins are then not checked as much?
Well, they roll through inside unmolested completely. As opposed to the ones that get through the first layer of guards. Sometimes you see them being stopped right at the actual entrance. But again, once you pass the first line, it usually looks as if you're pretty much on the straight and narrow.
All right.
And it isn't a few moments later when this rather impressive tiger being led by Saket and Jorik appear at your side.
Whoa!
Yes.
We just found him standing in a
Okay, that is.
An
I am
alleyway, yeah.
really impressed. This is amazing.
There's a rather curious spreading that starts to happen, and shouting and panic that starts to set in as the Drow people suddenly realize there is this large tiger, single chain in the midst of them.
I lie down and
Aw.
yawn.
Well, lying
Stretch.
down is lying down onto the chiseled roadside, which is covered in muck. So it's, you don't really mind too much. Your white underbelly is no longer white. However, you will need a good scrubbing. But
Good
yes,
tummy rub.
so
That's my handler's problem.
So, Adrosai, have you found anything while standing here?
Well, there seems to be some discreet exchanging of coin as they enter, which might smooth things along.
That's perfect. Saket, just bribe the guards when we go in.
Okay,
This
all
is
right.
amazing.
Yeah, I'll just grab a couple of gold pieces and we'll just walk in with the tiger.
all right.
Stretch your
Bring
backs,
delivery.
chins up.
As you are walking across the bridge, the swathe of people start parting on either side. Tiger.
We are so discreet.
Yes,
Go
it
on.
is
Remember, it's the
grand.
tiger.
It is a grand entrance of this orange creature, led by a very fair Sajet. I'm not sure if it's a traitorous Cathar next to the cat. I don't know how one would interpret that. But anyway, so this troop makes its way towards the tower. And the moment the guards see you, they form a very neat line with these very large, curved and hooked-looking spears pointing at you. Their shields up, their black arms, very ominous as you approaching. One of the guards looks very sternly in your direction. State your business.
Well, I have a delivery, and I'm just gonna. I just need to drop off the delivery.
It's a gift for the
It's a
senator.
gift. There we go. It was a gift. I knew I'd forgotten something for Senator Vyx, and I have a. I'm not really sure how to do this. And let's shake hands as we greet each other, friend.
Smooth.
The worst exchange of coins. It almost gets to the point where you're counting out 5, 6. This absolutely abysmal bribing happens. The guards, they're not entirely sure how to handle this whole thing. So it's not something that usually happens, and usually there's a great deal of cage around creatures like this when they are delivered. So
I sit down and make myself as non-threatening as possible.
Oh no, he's a big softie.
right.
He's fine.
He's only 800 pounds of death. No, that's him.
He brought home a wolf last week, but he's still a giant softie.
Yes.
Right. So as you finish your bribing, he looks very seriously at you. You must take this to Conclastes. He is in charge of the menageries of the senator.
Wow, okay. Does the senator like ordering gifts like this? I mean, okay, let's go. Okay, come on, nice tiger. There's a nice tiger. Let's go this way.
Come on, pillows.
After letting her tug on the chain for a bit, I stand up, stretch, look smugly at the guard captain,
They all
then saunter past.
All right. So the 4 of you enter into this cavernous handling bay is the only way to describe it, with carts docked and parked, and there's shouting as people want to offload, and there's manifests being signed and countersigned. You can see the senator's people. They're moving around like servants who have got too much to handle, and so are just handling it one thing at a time. There are multiple doors leading out of this bay. They don't have guards at them. The guards are clustered together around certain carts, specifically the ones that seem to contain alcohol, that kind of thing. It's a very relaxed atmosphere, insofar as it is the atmosphere of a gigantic trading floor that's slowly delivering cargo. So that's what the 4 of you see. Blaxton, back to you. The dinner section has now commenced with first course having disappeared. Is there anything specifically you're trying to find out from the senator?
Well, I asked him what. Last thing I asked him, or he told me, is that he is interested in Athlen Vandendar. But then
Correct.
I asked him, like, how am I fitting into that picture?
Yes.
Just what's happening.
Absolutely, yes. You are a member of the Histari, are you not? Or the Ocrelicari? I can never tell from a distance the specific affiliations.
I am a member of the orders, yes.
That gives you access to a lot of these cities. You were free to move out. For example, you arrived in Corsinii and were barely inconvenienced, except, I believe, from Senator Vestasios, but she inconveniences everybody.
Well, that's her job for one, and also I wouldn't even call it a convenience. We had a very helpful talk where we agreed on a lot of things.
I am surprised to hear that. I find Vestasios very disagreeable, as a matter of fact. She is incommoding my plans at the moment in time. As a result of
while he tells this, I would like to see Jessie Dari sits on the same table as we do.
Oh, yes, yeah.
How she reacts to this. If she's like, right? Or whatever.
Right. She is putting on a display of the perfect hostess.
Right.
You can see that she isn't listening to the conversation. Her eyes are tracking whether the senator has eaten 1, 2, 3 mouthfuls of the food.
And
she's watching his
at
glass.
some servants. Yeah.
She's discreetly indicating to servants, fill up more wine or next course.
So she's managing the sister's circumstances.
Correct. And she makes sure to politely nod and look as if she's listening to the conversation when something is mentioned. But, yeah,
right.
Her focus.
That's fine. So she inconveniences him before I interrupt you, sorry.
Yes. Based on your arrival, as a matter of fact, that is why I wanted to see you. Would you mind telling me just exactly what it is that you said to Senator Vestasios to get her to suddenly launch an official investigation to something which should have been settled a long time ago?
You say she's launching an investigation into the death of the senator?
No, not the death of the senator. That is already decided upon.
Right.
She is now launching an official investigation into the farmlands that I have been attempting to acquire for quite some time.
But that's interesting. We hardly spoke. No, actually, I didn't speak about those farmlands at all. We spoke about, similar to actually what we speak about here, why I am here, what my goals are, and that she made abundantly clear that she knows who I also represent, similar as you did already as well. And she wanted me to affirm that I wouldn't mess with any Drow. What did she say? Any Drow in interests, I think she said. And obviously I have I have interest in the Drow, but not to mess with such people as you. I am searching for allies, in the matter of fact.
I see.
I mean, I know only what she did after. I don't know exactly what she did after I left, but it seems that she was meeting somebody else. And this is actually true what I'm saying. I'm very careful with saying the truth, right? So I honestly don't know why she would be interested in, cave-in situation.
It was an earthquake, not a cave-in, but yes, I see your intentions there. He takes a rather pointed fork. It looks almost like a trident, and jams it into a squid-like creature that's been served up as the second course. And just before he takes a bite out of it, he says, "How do you know Kruvix?"
I think for a moment and say, well, I'm not sure I should be talking about it, but we're having such a pleasant evening.
Indeed. Stab.
I'm not sure how familiar you are with my personal story and the work that I've been doing, but I actually ran into some people that are very familiar that he is. And once we got the hold of those people, actually this one person in particular, we interrogated him. And he gave us all kinds of interesting information. Now I want to see how he reacts to this very, very clearly.
I find that very curious.
How so? How do you know Kruvix? What does he mean to you?
Yes. That is a very good question.
But I've been sharing so openly.
Kruvix is a very educated individual.
I'm sure he is, even though he is dangerous. Can be dangerous.
He can be very dangerous, yes. Even possessing knowledge of his existence has been known to cause trouble for the wrong people.
Well, then I'm glad that it's just the three of us.
And Senator Vestasios.
Of course. So, then when did Vestasios meet you? It seems that you just mentioned that you were, well, in disagreement with her.
The Senator and I met this morning, where she lodged her official investigation into the farmlands.
Right, that must have been probably right after she met this other person. Interesting. Wonder who he was. I didn't quite see him.
I know who you met this morning.
Of course you know. I mean, wouldn't you? In my position?
He takes his fork and grabs it and stabs it into the head of this squid-like creature, and then looks at you. You are here because of Kruvix. All the rest is a sham. I should have seen it whilst we were having drinks. And yes, you don't act upon the knowledge. You are hoping to use Vestasios to involve the Drow people in Kruvix. If you know who he truly is, you will know that that has absolutely nothing to do with the Drow. And yet your hand is not illuminated. That means you don't know.
Okay, so here's a technical question, because he basically just gave me that he is in cahoots with the dragons. Can I just now...
He did!
Can I just now phone home and make E.T. kind of illuminate my finger? Well, hand?
So, hold on a second.
Yes, just a second. Hang on.
One.
No.
There we go.
It sometimes takes time. Thinking.
Oh, would you look at that?
Thinking.
No, this is actually like a
No.
question, like
Right.
because he basically gave me the information that I was searching for, and you told me that I can get a hold of the oracle.
Absolutely.
So
She relays that to HQ, to the deacon.
Right.
And then he gives a final approval upon it. Yes, correct.
Right. So, beaming that home.
Right. You're just concentrating, kind of going cross-eyed.
Is it like? Is it, or is it more like you said, like thinking dragons really hard is enough?
No, that's it. That's it. Pretty much. That's all that needs to happen. So
here's the question: Would I be able to continue the conversation, or would this knock me out?
No. Absolutely.
Okay.
The whole idea is that you maintain your image.
Right.
It's more of a mental bond than actual conversation with.
Yeah, but the question is, how deeply need I to be in concentration, as he said, right? That's why I want to
take concentration. Let's put it that way.
All right. So kind of at the back of my mind, kind of saying like, oh fuck, and then I would say, well, which should give you the information that I'm here to talk. I'm sitting here without weapons, troops, and meanwhile under the well, apparently things have changed. But yeah, so that is why I'm here. But I must say you are also somewhat wrong as well, because the things I told you why I'm here were actually true as well. It's just obviously my duty to always keep my eyes open. And if I come across anything interesting, well, I have to do my duty, but I do know about Kruvix, that is true. However, I don't know how you are involved in this either.
Perhaps that is why you have not yet asked me about the temple.
You mean, which is, do you want to move on, or
I'm going to move on. I'll come back to you. Yeah. All right. Back to the four of you. There is a drow dressed in the livery of the house, currently walking very smartly over to you with that look of someone going, I was not told about the delivery of the tiger, and I'm complaining to my superiors about this because I am not cut out to handle a tiger.
Hi.
The look that you get as this drow approaches you. Yes.
So should we just leave this here with you?
Yeah. It's one delivery for Senator Vyx, one tiger for Menagerie.
Might warn you, it's not entirely tame, so be careful.
I look at him like he said something insulting to me.
Oi!
Oi! I'm a model citizen of a tiger.
To whom are you
I'm a
delivering this?
good boy.
Because they did not tell us to expect delivery of a tiger today.
Today? But
Well,
you are expecting a tiger.
We did get the name Conclastis.
You're delivering this to Conclastes.
That's the name I was given.
Sign at the bottom.
Grab it and sort of read through.
Right. It's just delivery. It's a delivery note. She has written Conclastes again.
I write it's a squiggle.
Right. She doesn't even look at it. She takes it. Well,
Would you like us to take it?
Have you been there before?
No,
Just
but
give us general direction, and I'm sure we'll find it.
I'm going to let you wander through the Senator's Tower with a tiger. No, I don't think so. All right, that's fine. You four, wait over there. And if it eats anything, it's on your heads. All right?
well, we'll try and make sure it doesn't eat anyone.
Good. I'm going to get Conclastes to come down here so that he can officially take requisition of this dog, and then it's not my problem. She says.
I growl very low. Growl.
There,
The word
close. It's all right, Phyllis. Don't listen to the mean drow. Just squitch in the ears and don't listen to her.
So, was I not paying attention before? Who the hell is Conclastius?
The person in charge of the menagerie, the guard mentioned them.
Oh, right. I must have missed that. Thank you.
All right. So she's pointed to a relatively quietish area of the tower. There is it looks like there's just piles of crates and things. It's a corner, basically, that's out of the mainstream. There's enough space there for the tiger to sort of lie down and not really affect anybody nearby. And of course, then there's doors nearby and the usual sort of.
Splendid. I'll try and position myself in such a way as to not be seen, if that's at all possible.
You're a giant
You're a
tiger of orange color. Sadly, that would be tricky.
There's no space to hide behind.
There's crates and things. Yes, you can sort of move behind them. To that sort of extent, yes.
It's just a matter of how many people are still standing looking at the tiger.
You wait for maybe 10 minutes or so, and then most of the people who were looking at the tiger, who's now just kind of sitting there, they got bored with it, and they kind of carry on trying to get their wares sorted out. So you think you're in a relatively unlooked at space.
Do we let them take us upstairs, or do we wait? Or do I change and disappear?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Yeah, the kitty's grumbling. You suspect that if or when Conclastes arrives, he will not have a delivery note for a tiger.
Yes, probably not.
And
this is what I'm thinking. We'd probably push this as far as we can go. All right, when I wait for the best possible moment,
right,
get myself hunkered down into a dark corner behind things as much as possible and transform.
All right, roll a d20 and just give me the number.
It's going to look awkward in a second.
All right, that's fine. So you transform. No one has batted an eyelid. Everyone's still offloading, unloading, and chaos is going on.
All right, we're now officially in hostile territory.
We need to just
Yeah, we need to just move. Let's not wait for whoever this man is. Let's just discreetly get out of here.
All right, so you head to the nearest door.
Promising-looking door that's not been...
Oh, yes. When do our palms start lighting?
I don't know anything about
We
this.
don't even know if they will, so calm down.
Yeah. All right, so you try...
outside the realms of our knowledge.
Discreetly, the four of you sort of sidle up, you sort of shuffle up to this door and try it, and it opens out into a very dank corridor.
Is it relatively private, this... private, but is there anyone in the corridor right now?
The corridor's completely empty. This as you step in and close the door behind you, you realize that this corridor, it's got stairs that go down, and there are stairs going up, but by the dust, this corridor isn't used very often.
It's my favorite kind of corridor.
Adrasai, how does your invisibility work? Can you cast it on several people or just one?
I can just concentrate on keeping it up on one person at a time.
All right, I can hide myself for like 10 seconds.
Well,
you don't need to do it with me.
The doctor is the only one they wouldn't recognize as having come in with the tiger.
Fair enough.
I suspect at this point, if we run into anyone, it's going to get awkward anyway, so we should try to avoid that. The question now remains, up or down? If I were an evil...
Actually, one more question. What is our violence level while in here? We should be prepared if we're going to fight our way out or if we're just going to...
My advice,
fight the way out? That's going to be interesting.
My advice, as always, is to try and avoid killing anyone without absolute necessity.
Yes, I think it's...
I agree.
As far as possible, if we can avoid a fight breaking out, because I don't think we're getting out of here if it does.
Probably
so if we absolutely need to, maybe if we can incapacitate somebody and lock them away temporarily, but I'd say that's probably...
Okay, good. Let's move on. That's all I need to know.
All right, then.
But let's just keep things quiet if it does come to that.
Standard stealth tactics, sneak around, avoid contact with the enemy. If we have unavoidable contact, try and deal with it as quickly and quietly as possible. Don't kill anyone. Good?
Yes.
Agreed.
Excellent. Next question. Up or down?
I'm
Think
gonna.
up.
I'm
I'm
going to
gonna-
go with up. He's important, right?
Well, if you were to hide away a nefarious thing, where would you put it?
Good
Put
point.
it in the basement.
In plain sight, where everyone wasn't really looking at it.
Yes,
the dungeon.
Our problem here now is those are both very good points.
Well, we're closer to the bottom of the tower than the top of the tower,
Right.
aren't we?
Logic.
Okay, we're going down. Can we leave
Go
now?
down.
We're stuck.
Yes.
Thank you.
Right, so let's go down, then we'll go up.
I'm gonna
Secret
cast
But let's go
mage
up
armor.
and get down, not go down and then get it.
All right, so you're going to cast silence,
Mage armor
mage armor. Sorry, I thought
on
it was
myself.
was it
I don't have silence. That would be very nice if it did. Put it on.
Silence
it's
also
also
stays in
static.
the area.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah.
So,
No, mage armor, just in case, because I want more armor class than I have, which
Right.
is not.
Quick technical question. Those 2 cure wound spells I cast, those still... I haven't rested since then, have I?
No, you've been
No.
constantly going. Yeah. The
So we got
stairwell.
a short rest in the sled.
Long
afterwards.
rest though.
that
Oh,
is-
that's-
I think it's long
Yeah,
rest.
of course. Yes, sorry.
Mhm. So the stairwell going down, or up for that matter, is fairly disused. Someone can give me a survival check if you like.
Wow.
Sure.
I don't know if you want that to be me.
Yeah, not me either.
No?
Dear.
The stairs are
7.
very infrequently used, if at all. The layer of dust indicates that you're the first people to go down here in a very long time.
Well, if that's the case, then maybe there's no point in going down here in the first place.
Well, it goes down.
Yes, but
Nobody
if
else
no
has
one
been
else has
there.
been down here in a long time, that would suggest
On this
no one's
particular
been down
stairs?
here in a long time.
Yeah, or another alternative way of.
Yeah, exactly. It's just this particular stairwell
Fair
that
point.
hasn't been used.
Let's go see where it goes.
All right, so you're heading down. The
I rolled
stairwell
a 7.
itself is not wide enough for you to walk 2 abreast as you go down. It's a spiral stair that winds its way down. So who's in the front?
I'm sorry,
Yes.
Con.
I think since I boldly rolled the survival roll, it sounds like it's me in the front. It's
Mhm.
fair.
Then-
Send in the medic.
Right.
That's
Good.
about good.
I'll
So the
head
medic-
up the rear as last time, or the future time.
All right.
Yeah, I
guess.
think we're using the same order. So
Yeah.
Con, Saket, me, other side.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm going to go straight in behind Con with the
It just
firepower.
feels right for some odd reason.
Yeah, it
I
is.
don't know why the firepower is backing up the medic, but it'll be okay.
Glass cannon in front. Yes, all right.
I mean,
Anyway,
if he bumps into someone, it won't. No.
Try not to set me on fire, Captain Hotep.
Et. Bet.
right. So you continue down these stairs, and you've gone down for feels like ages, but because it's a spiral, there's no real sense of height. It's just round and round and round and round, and these awkward, horrid little wedge-like steps. But you get to a landing, and there's a singular door that leads off of the landing, and then the stairs continue down.
Can we?
Listen at the door.
Yeah.
I hate Drow architecture.
Right.
Listen at the door.
So listening at the door, it's not too difficult. It's a decently made door, but you can definitely hear that there is talking on the other side. It's not in Drow.
Oh. Can I make out what they're saying?
No, Saket,
You're at the
you
back.
can give me an intelligence check, if you please, since you're second in the line.
All right, fair enough.
It's a cat. Okay, that would be me.
Just think of it all on the landing.
Ooh, intelligence. Ah, 19. Awesome.
Ooh.
There are some
19,
words
yay.
that are being whispered, which you think you understand. They're very similar to Sagetti, but they're just, the inflection's different. Instead of it ending in a dach, it ends in a Dutch sound. It's like a dialect of Saget, but what it actually is, you have no idea. Blaxton.
Mm-hmm.
He looks at you expectantly after having asked you about the temple.
Well, I was going to try to be discreet about this, but I was going to see if this is true or not.
His hand tightens around that fork that he was holding, and his whole demeanor seems to almost seem as if he's getting ready to attack you. As you say that, and as you say that, your hand starts to glow. As does everybody else's in that little narrow corridor.
Oh, no! Shh. The corridor just lights up blues. That's
Thunder calls for aid!
And on that note, we will catch up with you all next week.
Oh,
the cliffhangers.
always with the cliffhangers.
Always with the cliffhangers. That's how we work. All right, thank you for watching. If you don't stay for the review thereafter, goodbye, and we'll see you again next week. If you do stay for the review, well, we'll kick it off without any further discussions. Dice of Destiny says, number 2 again. That's me, my review.
It is so popular today.
I like the dice today.
So it doesn't want to change anyway. All right. So yes, look, obviously the challenge that I have is that things are in motion and they can only go as fast as everyone is going, and I can only give you information ask for it in one shape, form, or another. So this sort of episode where it's lots of we're not sure where to go or what to do, I can't have someone pop in saying, "Oh, you should probably go left or go right," or whatever the case.
No, and we wouldn't want you to.
No, absolutely.
Let us be shit in peace.
Say that. I think it's just the frustrations, perhaps, that can creep in. But anyway, I mean, there it is what it is, and we've certainly moved the story forward in some shape.
Oh, yes.
Yes, indeed. So, yeah, that was my take on the whole thing. I think the tiger ruse will never again work in the Underdark. Once this whole affair is over, rumors will spread of this masquerading druid, and so who knows what's going to happen.
It was quite interesting. I was surprised that they didn't disguise themselves, but
there was some curiosity as to the choices of action. But let's hear from everybody as to where that went. So, well, actually, let's Simon, let's get Blaxton's perspective on this dinner that he's having, and then the rest we'll talk about.
All right, well, you want to know? I mean, I made a conscious effort to tell the truth as much as I could.
Right.
I didn't want to give him any incriminating evidence that would kind of be a problem for me or for the order or for whomever. Actually, also not for any of the other senators I've met.
Absolutely.
I made an effort to actually tell as much truth as I could, which, by the way, everybody should if you're lying.
Yeah.
Just in general. But I also wanted to get information out of him for one. And another thing that I wanted to do is actually keep my hand open in the sense of actually make him an ally, or at least make him believe that he would be an ally in whatever shape or form.
Right.
So to see where this would lead and to basically keep the options open for as long as possible. And I tried also to give him enough information or not enough information to, basically what happened in the end as well, for him to lose kind of his composure. So, and that happened in the end. He kind of hung himself with his own words. Let's see how this goes. And right now I have an idea how I want to handle this. I want him to give him the opportunity for a second. If he doesn't, then, oh well, that's going to be another dead senator.
In the same house. Wow.
In the same room, too.
Yeah, that's really not going to help with the... Well, it might help with tourism, I suppose. So, yes. All right. Well, then to the Fantastic Four who sneak in through giant open doors.
I know who the thing is, but
Yeah.
So, Adressai, they were desperate to get into that book. There's a sort of mania that's starting to develop. I love it.
Honestly, I mean, it is a bit of a mania, but I don't see it as an unreasonable level of it, because, like, you find this thing that, like, they can't describe what it's like in this thing. And, like, yeah, I literally have, like, the gathered knowledge of the world in this thing. Of course I'm going to use it, kind of thing. And I think, I mean, in their personality, they're always going to be a bit reckless when it comes to learning things. So I think they're if anything a little frustrated with the other captains who are like, oh my god, it's fine, just let me read the book. But when it comes to this plan right now, it feels like it feels a little rushed and it feels a little silly, and it's like the things I wanted to do and that I actually wanted to look at are blocked off. So, like, I can't go and investigate the laboratory because we had to leave the estate. We can't go check the earthquake area because we're doing that tomorrow. And it's like, and I can't go around asking people questions because we're not allowed to like be so officially involved. So it feels like we're sort of pushed to doing this maybe not really optimal thing because we kind of have to do something.
Right.
And I'm like, not using disguises and stuff is mostly because it feels like there's not really much point, because the people who care about who we are going to know that it's us either way. So it's like we needed to get past the guards when it comes to like running around inside Vyx's estate. He's going to know that we did that. There's no stopping that with changing our clothes or like wearing an artful scarf or something. That's not going to help.
Right.
It's like,
Hey, I'm a pretty good disguiser. Speak for yourself.
yeah, well, when you're next to the other three of us, I think they're going to work it out anyway.
Yeah.
Right. So yes, Jorik, your position on the whole thing, you have a 3D map, which
yes. Amazing trading rolls. Now,
do the people always buy random maps when they get into it?
Right. Well, at least you avoided the crayon one this time round.
Now,
I'll probably buy that pop-up map off you afterwards.
Yeah. As a player, what did I do and why? I felt like it's a little bit tempo and narrative over efficiency here. We've been in this mystery for quite a long time. And we are a little bit hamstrung for options as far as it comes to, as Adressai said, we can't really go around asking questions. We have to consider people are listening to us all the time. So it kind of feels like we need to move on now. And that if that means getting a little bit reckless, then so be it. It has to be like that for the tempo and narrative, I think, and then it's up to you to clean up the mess as a GM. But at the same time, I think it's a lot of fun. But had I had more time, perhaps I would have done another way. But I personally, as a player, I'm starting to feel a little hamstrung for options, and that's when I start grasping at straws. So it's just better to do something than just sit around going, "Oh, what are we gonna do? I don't know," and then debilitate for like 16 hours. So that's how I feel about this episode. It was a lot of fun, but it was just that we need to do something now because we can't just talk about this for 3 more episodes.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. Saket, are you feeling the same pressure?
Well, Saket doesn't really feel pressure. She's not that aware. But, certainly from Saket's sort of point of view, she is just kind of, she's kind of already found out a lot of the information that she was looking for in the previous episode. So now there isn't a desire to go to the earthquake site still, but for her at this moment, it's just sort of following orders. And I think though that palm has lit up. She's probably just going to get very excited about the next step. You know, this is going to be like, oh, right, now we can just tear through this entire tower on official business. Awesome, I can take everything.
It's a budding kleptomaniac, I hear.
That's mine.
I would advise you to go and brush up on the edict of the orders.
No, I won't be that bad. But anything of interest will be mine.
Right.
Yeah, so, I mean, for Cicada, it's all going to get very fun, very, very quick. And she got to walk in a tiger today. That's always exciting. On a personal level, it's kind of like, oh, now where is this going? Because effectively, Vyx has just dropped himself in a whole lot of dragon dung. So, okay, that wasn't what I was expecting at all. I thought he was brighter than that. So, okay, this is going to be very intriguing where this is going to go now. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to the next episode.
All right, and the tiger, the star of the show, didn't eat your handler, so that's a good thing.
Thank you.
Well, Jeffrey still.
We try harder.
But we don't talk about him, right?
Right.
Well, yeah, that's all classic con.
Right, absolutely. Transforming into a creature. It's the standard sort of get inside trick, isn't it?
I'm a doctor and a druid. I'm not into disguises, except I have a handy one that I can pass off as an animal, so might as well use that. And I'm a firm believer of confidently marching forward, clipboard in hand, and just hiding in plain sight. If you're caught disguising yourself, or if you're caught sneaking, then you've got no options. But if you can blag your way through the front door, and people think you're supposed to be there, then it gives you a lot more breathing room, to do what you need to do.
Yeah, and in this case, get you into a corridor leading up and down. Right.
Choices, always choices.
Always choices. What's some of these choices anyway? So, yes, has Senator Vyx actually completely incarcerated himself in this horrendous situation, or is there more to it? Who knows? We'll find out next week when we return. Thank you for watching, and until next time, goodbye.